All right, making sure I'm turning off
Okay.
my Slack notifications so there's not all this pinging in the live stream.
Okay. I think we're good now. We're alive.
Awesome.
Okay. I think people can hear us now. Okay. We have 4 minutes. So we are live, and let's say hi to the chat. Because we can give an intro after we start, after the countdown finishes. Ooh, let's see. Hello. You want me to turn on? Wait, I think I need to refresh this. So all I can see is like something about French people, but I cannot actually read what that says. But hello, Leandro. I'm very excited for this one. Hello, thank you so much for joining. Ozguru. Hello. Hey, Cypher. Good to know she is alive. Why, thank you. I am indeed alive. It has not been an AI version of me this entire time. Do not worry. Hey, Ivers. Hello. Darius explains. Hey, folks. Hello. We're actually early today. Lunch and learn type shit. Yes, exactly. Except I don't think it's lunch for anyone right now. Well, actually, no. It has to be lunch for someone probably. But it's currently 8:57 a.m. for me, and Stephanie, night for you, I assume,
Yeah, it's
like 6.
about almost 7 p.m. here, so uh, dinner time roughly. But I've already eaten, so don't worry. I'm not sitting over here starving.
I'm just gonna drink water. Cool. I'll wait for the timer to count down. I just wanted to let everybody know that Lonely Octopus enrollment is now open. So if you're interested in working in learning AI skills and then working on real company projects, please do check it out at www.lonelyoctopus.com. Let me actually put that here as well. And here, I'll actually link the page. So enrollments close, applications close tomorrow, January 11th. Well, I think, okay, going by Eastern Standard Time. So technically in 2 days, Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested, please do check it out. And this live stream will also be talking about it. And Stephanie, who was very kind to agree to do this live stream with me, actually went through the Lonely Octopus program, and she'll be sharing some of her insights through her career journey because she's been actively job hunting and has landed a role as well in AI. So she'll be able to share some of her actual experience through that process. Tina, you're such a genius. I need us to exchange brains. Please have it. Take it. You can take all of the other things with it too. Journey with Rain Quinn. Hello. Cypher, in your absence, I just assumed you ate soap and were in the hospital all this time. You know, I guess that is a reasonable assumption. You know, that actually had not occurred to me that I should do that. Mohammed, Jason, Daz, it's lunch for me. Oh, wait, where are you? Wait, where is it lunchtime? Okay, I'm gonna try to guess. Let me try to think. Europe. No, Europe should be no. I don't think is it Europe. 7 hours. No, it shouldn't be. Europe should be sleeping right now. Australia, Indonesia. No, wait, that doesn't seem right either. Where is it lunchtime? Stephanie, do you know
Maybe Russia? I'm not sure.
where? I think Europe should be sleeping.
Yeah, it's got to be like 2 a.m. there, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's Europe, and it's not North America. It's not South America either. I'm guessing Australia.
It 11:30 in at least Adelaide. I don't know about other parts of Australia, but that sounds like lunchtime, so it must be the Australians.
Jason's dad. Ding ding ding. Correct. Australia. Your hair looks like you changed climate. What do you mean? What does that mean? Okay, well, it looks like our timer is over. All right. I'm gonna move on to the main presentation. My hair looks like it has changed climate. You mean it's gotten all like, was that word? Was that word? Like all over the place. Frizzy. Yes. Yes, that is true. It's very humid. I'm in Hong Kong right now, by the way. I've actually permanently moved to Hong Kong, which is actually super crazy because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but a lot of people on YouTube recently moved to Hong Kong, like completely independently of each other as well. I think, at least for me, I did not know anybody else was moving to Hong Kong, which was, yeah, that was very interesting. So, but yes, I have also moved to Hong Kong. Um, oh, we just made more guesses. Texas, America, 7 p.m., 6:30 a.m. India. Wow, thank you so much for joining. It is very late. I mean, very early. 6:30 a.m., too early in the morning. Thank you so much for joining. Frizzy hair seems like the standard for Tina. That's true. I'm just going to embrace it at this point. Nelson Mendanilla. Have you seen a trend lately that data engineers are also involved in EDA, ML ops, and other data science or ML tasks? What type of companies have you seen this role expansion? I think that's actually a great question. I think there's just people have been involved in a lot more things in general, just because of the way that the tech trend has been going. It's just there's an expectation now that you have to be able to do a lot more things. Um, yes. Going to start. Yes, I'm going to start. Thank you. Before I get distracted. Okay, so I actually have a lot to go through today. So I'm going to be going through things. Um, in this order. So the agenda is that I'm going to first talk about AI trajectory. Then I'm going to talk about the basic things that you should definitely know. Everybody should know these things going to 2025. Then I'll talk about the intermediate to advanced things that if you're interested in the field and you want to take advantage of the opportunities that you should learn about. Then I'll talk about AI careers and hand it over to Stephanie, who's going to share her own experience through the Lonely Octopus program where it's an 8-week program where she learned AI and then also worked on a company project and her own learning journey and her career journey to today. Then we'll end with a Q&A. As per usual, like just type stuff in the chat. You know, I will be moderating the chat. The Lonely Octopus team are also here moderating the chat as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with how is AI progressing in 2025. So since OpenAI launched ChatGPT in 2022, end of 2022, there has been a lot more data that has been coming in, which is really nice to see what is actually happening, like how it's actually been affecting the world. So especially in 2023 and going to 2020 and 2024, that data has shown that there has been an increase of up to 40% for highly skilled workers just in increased personal productivity. So this was an MIT study. It was a very extensive study that was done. That shows that if you learn AI and you use it well, then it can dramatically increase your productivity. I can personally also attest to that. I use AI like all the time now. Also, there's been increased AI integration into products and businesses of up to 72%. This is a McKinsey study that was done, which showed that they did an interview of a lot of different businesses, both small businesses and big businesses. And 72% of them said that they have either integrated AI into their business process or are in the process of doing so right now. So it's something that's definitely been people have been integrating that to increase productivity in their work life as well. In addition to this, there's continued development of the technology itself, especially multimodality. This is going to 2025. Like these are the main areas of focus. Multimodality. So video is going to be a really big thing. There's going to be like better improvements in audio as well, and then being able to link together these different modalities together. Then there'll be an emphasis on agents and specialists. So this is a very hot topic since pretty much like last year going into this year. The idea is like agents are able to perform certain tasks autonomously. And the key word here is perform. So, you know, when you're just like chatting to AI and talking to ChatGPT or something, you're talking to it, but it's kind of like, you know, you're technically still the one who's implementing its advice. But agents is going to be when you're able to actually implement, like AI is able to autonomously implement certain things. So, for example, there's a lot of like AI customer service agents who are able to perform customer service tasks, like being able to chat with you, like put in tickets for things, help you with whatever it is that you're dealing with, put in orders for you. So these are all agents. There's marketing agents, coding agents, a lot of different types of agents out there. And finally, for the base models themselves, so the kind of way that people have been approaching creating these base models for decades now is like more data the better. So they're kind of just like feeding it massive amounts of data. But over time now, there's like, believe it or not, we're actually out of data for people to actually feed into their models. So there's more of an emphasis now on how to develop smarter ways to use that data to train. Um, and also like focusing on more kind of like specialized base models for certain tasks as opposed to just that kind of approach of throwing as much data as possible to the models. So that's where base model development is heading. Let me see if people have any comments about that. What are the rents like in Hong Kong? Really expensive. It's like San Francisco expensive, but everything else is much cheaper though. AI trajectory type, video as in video processing or generation, both, especially video generation. So processing, I think the Gen AI part for the video processing itself, I think it's more in terms of the that would be more on in terms of like the technical side of things. So AI would be more in the sense of like AI coding and things like that, right? Like better coding. But specifically here, when I'm talking about video, I'm talking about generative video. So similar to how image generation has really gotten much much better in the past year or so, that's what we think is going to happen for videos. There's like this prediction, a rather lofty prediction that by the I don't know if it's actually lofty or not. If you actually see the progress of AI, so I'm actually not going to say that. Don't quote me on this one. But they're saying that with like stability AI and a lot of these different models, they think it's quite reasonable to be able to approach Hollywood level of videos by the end of 2025. So, which is kind of crazy, like full length Hollywood quality videos. Sounds pretty crazy. But at the same time, we also thought the other stuff was pretty crazy like 5 years ago, right? Is it a good place to tour? Hong Kong? Yeah, I think it's a great place to tour. I didn't get the base model, please. Okay, yeah. So when I say base model, I mean say the ChatGPT is like the interface built on top of the base model, which is GPT 4.0, right? Where like whatever other model it is that you're looking at. The base model development is like just being better in terms of the model itself to be able to generate text or generate video or to generate images. So before, like by making these AI models, we just keep throwing data at it. But now we kind of ran out of data to throw at the models. So they're coming up with smarter ways for the models to use that data to learn better. So does that make sense? That's where the focus is. It gives me error in the link to sign up for the slides. Really? Oh shit, you're right. My bad. Um Thank you so much for pointing that out. Okay, let me do that again. Oh, I think what it is. And okay, there. Let me pin that. Okay, cool. Does that work now? Okay, I think it works now, right? Okay, cool. Yep. And if yeah, I think that should be fine now. On the 6-second clips were the full 180 minutes for the Hollywood quality videos. They're the claim is that they're able to make like full length videos, not like the 6-second clips. Yeah, like that's apparent. That's like the claim that they're making, at least. I don't know. I just think that's like I don't know. That just sounds really crazy to me. But if you think about it, though, when images first coming out, they were so bad, and then within the span of just a few months, it got to the level that they're at right now. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to say that, oh, like maybe it's not going to happen where it is. It's hard for me to imagine right now, but it's also like logically quite reasonable for it to happen. Um, Darius explains, Tina, what is the best way to learn AI? Software engineer or data science? Also, if you have no experience in tech, what is the best way to break in? Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I actually think, Stephanie, if you want to jump in here, like please feel free to, but no pressure. Um, the best way of learning AI, so neither software engineering or data science, I would say, but if you have to choose between the two, I would say software engineering is much better to learn AI, because it's a lot more of it is based upon software engineering principles. I'm also talking about applied AI skills, right? Like I'm not talking about like actual research and development of AI. That would be more in terms of like math, in terms of like engineering principles, and you probably need at least a master's or a PhD for that. But I'm talking about the application of it. If you want to choose, I would say software engineering. But I think when you're learning AI, you could just directly learn that as well. You'll eventually have to learn some like software engineering principles as well as some data science learning principles. But I think if you like directly just learn like how to use AI in terms of starting off with prompt engineering, which I'll actually go through in a bit, and then building that up to incorporating that into software, you'll get quite far with that. Stephanie, would you like to jump in as well?
Sure, yeah. I would say that's all pretty accurate. As someone who came into the space outside of STEM myself, I'll talk more about myself later, but I came from an English background and I taught for many years. So definitely not a STEM person myself. I think Tina's absolutely right. Just learning those skills, like maybe prompt engineering, for example, because just about anyone can do it with a little training. And then just seeing what jobs are out there. And there are definitely a lot of jobs. So, yeah, I mean, that's really the short answer. Just starting with those skills and getting those down, and then finding whatever kind of jobs you can, even if they're just little contract jobs or freelance jobs.
I'm so sorry, Stephanie. I totally forgot to ask you to introduce yourself. Would you mind just giving a
Oh,
quick
sure,
little
sure.
intro? Yeah.
Yeah. So my name is Stephanie, and probably like a lot of you watching this right now, the YouTube algorithm gods just recommended Tina's channel to me one day, and I started watching. And I was like, "Oh, this is so interesting. I think I could get into data science." And then I subscribed to her newsletter and actually became a member of one of the first cohorts of Lonely Octopus. So that's my short mini biography and explanation of why I'm here.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
of
Stephanie
course.
will share a little bit more about her like experience in job hunting and all these things later on as well. Um the connection is really bad. Oh shit. Is it? Could I get like a check from people? Can you guys see/hear us? Mostly, at least. Jason's dad. I don't believe that. They don't even maintain coherence across the 6 seconds all the time. I don't think there is compute/memory for that. I don't know. See, I want to agree with you. I want to agree with you right now, but I'm also not going to bet on that because we also thought that generative AI in general was never going to be able to get to the level it's at right now. So I'm going to like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Because they're for the compute and memory issue, right? Because you don't need to do it all at the same time. Like what they're probably going to do is like break it up into portions and then be able to generate it through that, like kind of like an iterative recursive way of generating is I think where they're going right now. So I'm like, I kind of want to agree with you, but at the same time, I wouldn't. I would not believe it. If that makes sense. Um Okay. The video from the webcam is bad, but audio and slides are fine. Okay, that's fine. As long as you can see the slides and hear us, you don't need to see our faces. It's fine. um, okay, Joshua. So it seems like we're trending towards generalists with specialties. is better than specialist. I actually have a slide for that as well, which I'll go through. So I think it's trending towards like for the majority of people, it's trending towards whatever it is that you're doing right now, you should probably integrate AI into it. So if that's what you mean by specialties, but specialists themselves, if you're specializing in anything like AI related or like specific things, I don't think that's anything that's gonna go away at any point, if that makes sense. Um, so I wouldn't say it's like completely that way. But say if you know you're kind of more of a generalist person, right? Then it's probably better for you to learn some specialties and you know you're a specialist type of person, then be more cognizant about choosing what your specialty is going to be. You look like a PSI character, PS1 character. No, that's good enough. The pixels. That's fine. It's called pixel art. It's a style. Oh, hey, Rex. Good morning. Rex is also from the Lonely Octopus team. Wait, Rex, how come you're not a moderator? Let me make you an admin. You should definitely be an admin. Let me do that. Okay, great. Wonderful. Okay. All right. I shall continue. Okay, so here is a really good article. I don't know if you guys can see it. If I click over here, can you guys see the other tab or no? Okay, I guess not. Anyways, it's fine. It's from Deep Learning AI, so it's from Andrew Ng. Like after I read this article, like I think you guys should definitely check it out. Again, if you want the slides for this, like please sign up for the mailing list. I have it in the pinned comments. So I will email you the slides with all the links and stuff that you can check out later. But I really think if you're gonna read like any of those 2024 summaries, the 2025 prediction, if you're going to read any of them, I think you should read this one. It's quite good. So yeah, the insight. So there's like 6 different AI leaders that are talking about like what it is that they think it's going towards. So creativity, like liberating the repetitive mechanical tasks and smaller customized models. Video is really big, integrated full length videos and soundtracks, and allows for greater creative control, like being able to control tone or being able to control like the colors and things like that. So this is like a controversial claim that Andrew Ng made in his article. He claims that we've already reached artificial general intelligence in the sense that intelligence is in fact generalized at this point, allegedly. He goes and like read the article if you want his like reasoning for that. Base model, so focus on greater training efficiency. Agents is focused on greater context and especially vision. So giving agents the ability to know what it is that you are working on, being able to see your screen, for example, and different softwares is going to allow agents to be better at doing things. And finally, social cohesion. So this is the idea of using AI for inclusivity and aligning with more human values, because as AI is becoming more powerful, we need to be more cognizant about aligning it towards the good of humanity. Okay, so now I'm going to go and talk about things that you should definitely learn. So these are things like AI basics that you should, if you don't know already, you should definitely learn in 2025. This is the equivalent of, say, like knowing how to use Google or like, knowing how to use a computer. Like these are things that I think everybody should know, regardless of what it is, what field they're in, what they're interested in. Okay, so the first one is prompt engineering. So this is prompt engineering refers to when you're just giving commands to an AI in order to either have a conversation with it, get it to do something for you, just communicating with the AI. So I think if there's like one thing you're going to learn, I think you should learn all 3 things. But if there's like one absolute thing that you should learn is prompt engineering, and I'll actually go through like a couple frameworks, which if you just use those 2 frameworks, you will be better than like 99% of people at prompting, if you actually use them correctly. So this will increase your learning speed, increase your productivity substantially. Also with workflow automation. So I'm sure many of you guys do things that are not very, just like little tasks here and there. Workflow automation is using AI to be able to automate certain tasks, like for example, content writing, writing emails, um, let's see, budgeting, like managing your finances, like things like that, which is relatively, you have to do quite a few times. Um, and it's just maybe something that you don't particularly enjoy. Implementing workflow automation will dramatically increase your day-to-day life. And finally, I think everybody should have a basic understanding of how AI models work. Like you don't need to go into the math and like dive super deep into it, but if you know the basics of how AI models work, you're also able to understand the limitations, like hallucinations, which is when AI is like saying things that may or may not actually be true. it will help a lot for you to understand how it is, like how to understand these limitations and things that you can do to avoid these limitations as well. I don't really have that much time to talk about all these things in a lot of detail, but these are kind of like the general things that you should definitely learn. And I'll actually share, like for prompt engineering specifically, I'll share a couple frameworks. So this first framework, and this is, I adapted this from the Google's AI prompting course, which I think is very good. It's like very long though, but I think the major takeaway is, like, if there's one thing that you're going to remember about prompt engineering is that if you remember this framework, this will make you better than like 80% of people who are using AI right now. So it's task, content, resources, evaluate, and iterate. So I came with, like, I asked ChatGPT actually. I can't claim full credit for this, but we came up with this mnemonic called "Tiny crabs ride enormous iguanas." So every time you prompt, just like think "tiny crabs ride enormous iguanas." If you want to think of another mnemonic, type in the chat as well. Maybe other people have other mnemonics, and then I also made a picture, so I guess you can just think about the tiny crabs on the enormous iguanas. Anyways, okay, so the framework itself is that whenever you want AI to do something, first think about the task, what it is that you actually want the AI to do. And as part of it, there's persona and output format. Persona is telling it to act as a certain role. So it focuses the AI on that specific role. And then output format is how it is that you want the AI to output information. Context is giving it additional information so it's able to have a more tailored response to you. Resources is providing it with examples, providing it with things to consider as well. So the way that LLMs work is a lot of it is pattern recognition. So it's very good at that. So if you're able to give it examples and tell it to match a pattern to it, your results will be much, much better. The fourth step is to evaluate. So evaluate the output that's there. Think about, are there hallucinations? What can I do to validate the things that it's telling me? And the fifth step is to iterate. So prompting is not like a let me tell AI this thing and then just hope that it works the first time. It's a very iterative process. So you can either keep chatting if you're using a chat functionality to get to the prompt that you want to get to, or if you're trying to like make a prompt that you're using for a product, then you need to keep iterating on that prompt so you're able to get to the ultimate prompt that you're looking for to get the best results. And just to a little bit more kind of being a little bit more specific, here's an example where we're incorporating some of these. So in this example, the task here is to write a social media post featuring this image. The format, which is also part of the task, is that the post should be fun and short and focus on the fact that it's a collection of new designs I'm selling. So this is the context, right? You want to focus on the fact that it's a new collection. It's a collection of new design, like nail art designs that I'm selling. And then you're providing the reference, which is of the picture over here. So these are incorporating some of the components of the tiny crabs ride enormous iguanas framework when you're thinking about writing a prompt, as opposed to just saying, write me a social media post of a collection of nail art, right? Like, or if you just wrote something like caption this, you wouldn't get as good of a results. Okay, before I move forward, let me see if anybody has any comments. Um, Good morning. Good morning. Hello. As the models become more powerful and get tuned better, is prompt engineering becoming less relevant? I do not believe it is, no. Because the models themselves become more powerful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's able, like, you still need to be able to steer the tool itself, right? Like, I don't think prompt engineering, it's kind of like, how do I explain? It's still not able to read your mind. Does that make sense? Like, the better you are at prompting, it's almost like the better it is that you are at communicating with what it is that you want. What exactly it is do you want it to do? I think the getting better part of the models is going to allow it to be able to capture the context better, to be able to give better output. And prompting techniques is going to be how it is that you're going to get it out of that. Good morning. Hello, RG. Just rise and grind. Hello, all. Hello. What are your thoughts on Google's AI Essentials? I think that course is good, but I actually, like, if you don't know anything, I think that course is pretty good. Although it's pretty fluffy. I think if you the AI prompting essentials course has a lot more. I think that one was a lot better. But if you have like not if you know nothing about AI, then I would say the Google AI Essentials course is pretty good. Who's Stephanie? Stephanie is someone who is doing this live stream with me right now. She's somebody who I asked and she very kindly agreed to do this live stream with me. She's gone through the Lonely Octopus program and she also offers a really great perspective because she comes from Stephanie was actually an English teacher previously. So she comes from a very different background and she got a job in AI and has gone through the job process very recently. So I wanted her to be able to share some of her perspective. Oh, thank you, Jason's dad.
Yeah, he
Steph
got
is an
it.
English
Jason's dad got
teacher.
it.
Stephanie, was that correct? Did I say that correct?
Say what, correct?
Did I say who you are correct?
Oh, yeah, yeah, you got it.
Okay, cool. Who is Tina? I'm not going to answer that. Komodo dragon instead of iguana. But that doesn't work. How would that work? The acronym is Tiny Crabs Ride Enormous Iguana. So it's TCREI. Right? You get a cookie if you can write a better acronym. Not acronym, sorry, mnemonic. um Okay, so I'm gonna keep going on. Okay, so if that gets you 80% of the way, right? If you just remember tiny crabs ride enormous iguanas, okay, like that will get you 80%. And you're like, okay, pretty good. But if you actually want to get to like 90%, we're 95%, then you have something called iteration technique. So maybe whatever the output is like you want to improve it. Then I have another mnemonic for you, which is ramen saves tragic idiots. So if you do these four things, then it would significantly allow you to increase the like how good your prompt is going to be and you'll be able to elevate it even more. So I guess if you can also remember a second mnemonic, then you should remember this one, which is ramen saves tragic idiots. So the first one is just to revisit the tiny crabs ride enormous iguanas framework. See if there's any part of it that you can add in. Like maybe you can add in a persona, maybe you can add more resources, like more examples. Yeah, something like that. The second one is to separate prompts into multiple steps, and I'll show like a couple examples of this in a bit. And the third one is try different tasks or analogous tasks. So try to play around with how it is that you're communicating with AI. And then finally is to introduce constraints. So separate prompts into multiple steps. Like this is an example of that. Say you wanted to summarize key data points and information about this report, and then you're asking it for these things, and maybe it's like not that good. What you can try doing is splitting the prompt up and feeding it to the AI one step at a time. So it's able to be a lot more clear. Trying different or analogous tasks. Say if you want to create a marketing plan for your new sneaker line for college students and it's like not very good, you could see like marketing is very similar to storytelling, right? So think of another like analogous way of what it is that you want. So instead of just saying create a marketing plan, you can say something like write a story about how this product fits into the lives of our target customer demographics, and you'll get something better out of it. Introduce constraints. Like say if you want to create a playlist for a road trip, you just go like make a playlist for me and it's not very good, it's just some random songs that you don't like. You can start introducing constraints to be more specific in the output. So you can say only use Brazilian music style, only use chill and adventurous tempos, only songs about heartbreak. I don't know if there's any songs that match all of these three constraints, but you get my point. If you do it this way, then you're able to get a playlist that is more specialized for what you want to do. All right, you got that? Ramen saves tragic idiots. All right, let's see if anybody has any comments. Tina's cookies are excellent. I agree, they are excellent. How do you tell when it starts tripping? When the AI starts tripping? That's a great question. AKA, what to do, how to tell if it's hallucinating. Validate everything. What I like to do is I always ask it to give it references. So if I ask it a question, I always say cite your sources. So you're able to check wherever it is that it's coming from. I think that's like the simplest way to make sure that it's not tripping. And just generally, when you're evaluating things, like whatever it is saying, take it with a grain of salt and try to break things down into pieces. So if it's going to be tripping, then you know which step of the tripping is happening. What kind of projects can I add to my resume to make it stand out? I will go through that in a bit. What do you think about using software such app such web platform to create prompts? Sorry, I just saw the comment, "Can I be like Stephanie?" Stephanie can answer that question in a bit if you want. But okay, what do you think about using software such apps, such web platform to create prompts? I think you can use them. I personally don't think you should rely on them because if you understand the general prompting principles, you're gonna it's like you don't need to actually use these softwares and you're able like these are just general principles. Also a lot of like softwares and apps and platforms they charge you for just creating a prompt, which I think is like not very worth it. Would you like to answer that question, Stephanie? Can I be like Stephanie? I think you
Turned my
are.
mic off for a second there so that y'all wouldn't get too much ASM. Wow, can't talk. Turned off my mic for a second there so that y'all wouldn't get too much ASMR with me drinking water or like typing on my keyboard. Um, but yeah, I think when I talk more about my story in a little bit here, hopefully it resonates with people. And I think absolutely in a lot of ways, AI has a pretty low barrier to entry. I think a lot of the basic skills you need to break into the field are pretty easy to get a hold on. Now, of course, like some of those engineering or system design jobs obviously are really specialized. And like Tina mentioned, you probably need a master's or a PhD for that. But um, I think a lot of people just don't realize yet how many jobs and how much opportunity there is in AI. So I think absolutely you can be like me and come from a non-STEM field and a non-STEM job and then work your way into it.
That is how you be like Stephanie. Oh, that's a great. There's another question for you. What edge do you feel you have by being an English teacher coming into the field?
Yeah. So actually, a lot of these AI jobs want people who have a good grasp of language, and not just your native language, but even more bonus points if you're multilingual, because the way users interact with AI is language based. We ask it questions in a language, and it spits out answers to us in a language. And so these companies want their models to talk to us in a way that we'll enjoy and keep using their product, right? So, um, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you have a background in anything language related, I think you have a strong advantage for certain kinds of jobs in AI for sure.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna continue so we don't run out of time. Okay, so here's some examples. I don't really have time to guys to actually show you demos of these right now, unfortunately, but I'm gonna list some of the workflow automations that you can do. Also, people, if you join Lonely Octopus, my plug here is that you can as well as products. So some very very simple ones. Note taking, transcribing. I'm sure a lot of you guys have used personalized learning, health tracking, finance and budgeting is one that I like to use it a lot for as well as travel planning. I think my favorite is finance and budgeting and travel planning for myself. Intermediate to advanced, so it's like, okay, this is kind of like you can do this and this is no code as well. Obviously if you use code it might be better and it's going to be you're able to do it faster and it's cheaper as well, but you can also do these workflow automations without using code, or you can just buy someone's software to do it for you as well. But honestly, if you just learn how to make these automations, so many like software products out there are pretty much people just taking a prompt and then slapping like a pretty like user interface on it and then selling it for like $20 a month. Like if you actually look at products, so many of them are just shells. So if you just learn how to do it yourself, then you don't have to pay people like $20 a month to do one of these functionalities. Okay, so intermediate to advanced, like say you want to actually get deeper into that and you're more interested in the field, there's a lot more opportunities there, especially on the side of agents and AI products. So as I said earlier, agents are all the rage these days. Um, and it's all about implementation. So how do you go from just chatting with an AI to actually implementing things from the AI? Some very like common examples of agents that people are integrating right now are customer service, marketing, coding, travel planner, business consultant, well as expert coaches and tutors. On the front of building AI products, so we talked about earlier that 72% of companies are integrating AI into their businesses. This is a trend that's going to dramatically increase in 2025. We're done with the more exploratory phase now, where people are looking at the shiny new object that's AI, and we're really thinking about how we can get increased productivity, increased usefulness out of these. And a big part of that is integrating and building AI products. A very like something that's very powerful that you can build is a dashboard that analyzes qualitative data. So this is also some of the projects that we have within Lonely Octopus. um, this is like one of the biggest requests that companies have for us to build, because it's so powerful. Like a lot of companies just have dashboards and they have a lot of data that's there and they're just kind of like not really doing anything with that. By being able to build something out of that and being able to extract information from that data and display it on a dashboard, it can be very powerful. Another very common one is chatbots. So chatbots kind of slash agents is we get a lot of requests. Like companies are really looking for people to build these things as well. So say if you're like a food delivery service or doing e-commerce, if you're able to integrate AI into it, first of all, you can a large part of that, anything that is not kind of like very advanced, you don't even need a human to do that anymore. And then you're also able to have a lot more personalized experiences by having a chatbot. And okay, before I move on to job stuff, any comments there? Let's see. Can you give examples of how AI is used as a tutor? How do you think it has a lot of potential to involve? I use AI as a lot as a tutor. It's one of my favorite things. And whenever I want to learn something, I ask it to give me study plans for stuff, and I also ask it to explain things to me in a way that I understand. Like even the mnemonics, like using mnemonics is very helpful. So I would get AI to give me mnemonics for things so I can actually remember whatever it is that I'm learning. It's also useful. Like you can actually, I use it for interview prep as well. Like for like speaking, whenever I have like a speaking thing, I would just use it. The voice functionality is one of my favorite things to do. So I'm just like talking through something and it's able to provide feedback for how I'm responding to questions, the tonality that I'm using, how it is that I'm portraying information. So it's very personalized. I've also seen, I haven't done this myself, but I've seen people do things like take a video of themselves, like I don't know, like batting something or like doing golf or something and literally just uploading that and asking AI to critique it. I don't Again, I haven't tried this out myself, but some people said that it can be pretty helpful, and I'm assuming 2025 because of the focus on video stuff, um generative video, that it would be able to say like critique your swing, which is crazy. That would be really really cool if it's able to do that very well. I would predict that if you're practicing a language, like chatting through it with AI is going to allow you to be able to correct your grammar, catch certain like accents or tonality. I don't know how good it is right now, but I think that's something that will definitely develop over time. Uh, Nitin, what kind of projects are what kind of companies are these projects with? Am I allowed to choose a project when I join the program? That is a great question. So within the Lonely Octopus program, it's 6 weeks you'll be learning things, working, and you gotta like learn things first, right? Before we can actually work on the project. And then the last 2 weeks is when you're gonna be working on a project that you choose. So every time we offer different types of projects at different companies that are coming in as well. So for this cohort, we have projects in cybersecurity, we have projects on content and business on the marketing side of things. We have a project from Posit, which is going to be focused on AI technologies like AI driven tables and things like that. I think we had like one more that I can't remember right now. Oh, I think we have one on dashboarding as well. So these are some of and yeah, the field they're in is also very different. So there's like tech companies, we also have consultancies, we also have like marketing agencies. So they're coming from a lot of different types of companies, different types of projects. So you're able to choose the one that you like the most. So we do offer there's two different offers for Lonely Octopus. The first one is the Explorer option, where you go through the program is group-based, community-based learning with a lot of mentorship, which is also what Stephanie went through. We also do offer a higher ticket Pioneer option. This is really useful for companies where people who are coming with specific projects. So we've had, like, for example, had a company come in and went like, hey, we have this AI project that we want to build, but we don't know how to do it. And can you also train our people to build something like that? We also offer that kind of service where we'll make the project that they're bringing in into the project that people would work on through the Lonely Octopus program. And since these study plans that we give people are all customized, we're able to customize it to make sure that you learn the correct things to be able to do the project. But that would be the higher ticket Pioneer offering, if that makes sense. Darius explains, thank you for supporting the channel. How do you build a large scale AI software as a service? I want to build software in video production, language translation, accounting, education, etc. That is a very big question. That's a very big question. I think if you're gonna do that, you're really, if you like a large scale AI software, um, mm, okay, I think the first step that you probably want to build something that, like, actually build an MVP of it first to make sure that it works before trying to scale it, right? So if you're doing something like video production, then go through the step-by-step process of that and then seeing what part of it, like which part of it are you actually going to be using AI for? Because it's also, you can't really use AI to replace everything. So you need to identify what part of that process you want to be doing, or like language translation, like which part of that will you be tackling? You're probably going to be using an API from somebody. So I think the very like next step is going to be figuring out like what it is that you need the AI model to do for you. So you'll probably just have to go and see like whatever your requirements are. Do you want to go for open source? You want to go for proprietary? There's a lot of trade-offs, like cost trade-offs. There's also going to be like stability trade-offs, privacy trade-offs. Figure out what it is that you're working with, and then choose the model or a combination of models that you want to be using. If you need multimodality, for example, since it's going to be video, you're probably incorporating multiple different models together to be able to achieve what it is that you're looking for. So I think like the model choosing part is, you should focus very, very much on that, and then also like think through the trade-offs for what you're doing, and then from there you can kind of build out the other parts of it, whatever it is that you need to do, like the user interface and stuff. But I think the major thing I want to emphasize when you're building any sort of software, any really like anything, right? Be it AI or whatever, anything else, the whole concept is still going to be the same. You're still going to be thinking about what it is that you want to be addressing first and going through the product development cycle, because AI itself is just the tool that you're going to be using as part of your product. It shouldn't be like, you shouldn't think about it as in how do I use AI to do this. You should think about it more as in what is the problem I need to solve, and can AI solve this for me? Does that make sense? Like AI products are also still products. Okay, cool. I'm gonna move on. Um, Increased job postings. I'm going to try to get through this quickly. There's a lot more increased job postings now that mention generative AI in the last year, the past 2 years, and this is broken down by different countries. So we're looking at like 4.6 times increase. Just people in their job postings, like there's going to be a lot more mention of AI, of people's requirements of AI as well. Um, and yeah, this is something that Stephanie will can go into more detail about as well. And then also, this is interesting for AI specialized roles. So a lot of us, is like not a secret to anyone that we're not going through like a great job market right now. And what's interesting is that the job openings are very, like for AI specialized roles has increased dramatically for like AI research, applied scientists, or machine learning engineers, while for a lot of other fields, unfortunately, it has been decreasing. So specializing in AI roles is something that is a trajectory that's increasing as well. Okay, I'm gonna let Stephanie take over.
All right. So I went over a little bit of this already. You guys know that I come from an English background. I did my bachelor's and master's in English and then taught English for 12 and a half years. And then one day the YouTube algorithm gods blessed me with Tina's channel, and I started watching and subscribed to her newsletter. And that's how I found out about her Lonely Octopus program. And I thought, sure, let's give it a shot. And to my surprise, I was selected and went through it. You do get to choose the project you want. So after you go through the learning phase, you get a little preview of each of these projects, and then you can team up with people and decide which one y'all want to do. So the people I teamed up with, we did an EDA, so exploratory data analysis project for a family-owned acupuncture clinic, and that was really great. It was I think a just really incredible experience because this is a real person that you're helping, and you could tell it meant a lot to him to have gotten that help, so he could really dig into his clinic's data and make more sense of it. And then after that, I actually started my master's in data science, and I've been working on that just to deepen, my math and comp sci skills that I learned through the Lonely Octopus program. And then also, of course, in a really big way, doing a lot of self-study on AI and Tina's program and a lot of her YouTube videos too, honestly, give you a lot of great pointers on self-study. And the whole program too is really self-study. So I think if you go through it, you start to hit a really good rhythm of how to do that and be successful at it. And then from there, also just as a side hustle while I was still teaching, I got into some RLHF work, which is reinforcement learning, human feedback. So in the process of training AI models from like the base model to the public facing product, RLHF kind of comes in at the end there, and you basically do tasks like, just as an example, you might be looking at two different outputs from a model, and you have to choose one that's better and explain why. So it's really basic work that just about anyone can do. You don't even need a whole lot of AI skills to do that. Um, and there are a lot of companies out there you can do this through. So if you want to just get your foot in the door with AI, I mean, that can be a really easy, straightforward way to do it. I'll just warn you, a lot of those jobs, the work can be very inconsistent. So I would not rely on it as like your full source of income. Like I did, I would just use it as a side hustle, but it can be a really great way to get your foot in the door and open up more opportunities later. Again, especially if you don't have a STEM background or, a whole lot of AI skills yet, it's, I think, the perfect kind of work to do for that. You can also do prompt engineering. I think someone in the chat asked, like, could you get a job just based purely on prompt engineering skills? And absolutely yes. I even had an interview for a prompt engineering job with a major company here in Houston. Didn't get that one, but it was like purely like a prompt engineering job. And a lot of companies are hiring those people because they want to automate processes at their business. So yes, you can get a job like that. And then after lots and lots of applications, and to kind of corroborate some of Tina's charts that she just showed, yes, I think the AI job opportunities are so much more plentiful than a lot of people realize. I've sent out a lot of applications for data science and AI jobs and got exactly 0 calls for interviews for data science jobs, but a good handful of interviews for AI jobs. And then I finally landed a full-time job with benefits in AI. So I was able to quit my teaching job, and now I work in AI full-time. Currently working on the data team, but would love to eventually move into like the engineering or system design side of things, but that's several steps away from now. I still have a lot of learning to do to ever get there, but that is where I would like to be. If that's like, if you ask me the question, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years, that would be my answer to that probably. And yeah, just continuing my AI self-study journey and working on that master's degree. And I also got another new side hustle, not doing the RLHF work anymore, but a different side hustle, doing technical content writing for a prompt engineering / AI startup. So yes, even if you don't like directly do prompt engineering, there are adjacent jobs you can get, like technical content writing. So yeah, I think I would really start looking at the kinds of jobs that are out there in AI because there are so many and there's so many different points of entry, and not all of them are that hard to get into. Like, you don't necessarily have to have a master's or PhD to get into a lot of this. So yeah, that's my little spiel about my history and my learning journey, and how Lonely Octopus played a big part in that.
Thank you so much. Cool. If anybody has any questions for Stephanie, I think this is a great opportunity because you're talking to someone who is coming from a completely different background, going in through that learning journey through STEM, and then ultimately successfully landing a job. So she's gone through like because we've been in touch for ever since the cohort started. So there's been like I know that you've been applying to a lot of jobs, going through a lot of interviews and stuff. So for anybody else who are interested, I think Stephanie's a great person to talk to. What is Stephanie's current title at her job? I don't know if that's something that Stephanie you want to share with people per se,
Yeah,
because it is.
it's because of the nature of the job. I will not say exactly what I do, but it is on their data team, and AI models need a lot of data. So there's a lot of different jobs you can get on the data side of things with AI.
Yeah, a lot of like companies, like a lot of like tech companies and places, they are very strict about this sort of stuff. I don't know if you guys were there when I was still working at Meta. I hid the fact that I worked at Meta for like 3 years.
Yeah, a lot of these
Exactly for
companies will have you sign NDAs because so much of their success of their model is proprietary, right? And they're always trying to, understandably keep everything secret. So the nature of the work I do, the exact nature of it, my job title will be secret.
secret. Oh, lots of other questions. Um, yeah, Stephanie, feel free to answer whichever ones that you want in
Sure.
the chat.
Um, Here's one. This is probably something a lot of people wonder. Is your side hustle income significant compared to regular jobs? Um, yeah, even the RLHF work, even though the work was really inconsistent, the pay is pretty darn good. Um, I was making for a while there 40 US dollars an hour, which is really good. So if you had, sorry, my dog is trying to come into the frame here. If you had enough work, you could get a couple $100 every week extra, which is obviously really great. But the work isn't always consistent if they don't have projects for you. So that's kind of the trade-off, is sometimes you make $0 for weeks at a time, and then other weeks you make several hundred. So it just depends. Um, let's see what else. What process did you follow to get advanced skills in prompt engineering? Really, honestly, the Lonely Octopus program. Sorry, my dog is being very silly. Um, the Lonely Octopus program has a lot of helpful coursework on prompt engineering. Um, and then really just keeping your ear to the ground with content creators or whoever you follow to see maybe their perspective about how they do things. Because prompt engineering, since it's really just giving good instructions to the model, everyone kind of puts their own little style on how they do it, even though there are like specific patterns you can follow or specific techniques you can follow, like chain of thought, for example. Everyone's style is just a little different. So I think paying attention to how other prompt engineers do their work can also be really helpful for refining your skills. Um, there are a lot of questions, so I'm just kind of going to the ones that like maybe specifically mention my name since they're obviously directed at me. Okay, how long did it take me? Mm, from about when I started the Lonely Octopus, well, from when I maybe started watching Tina's YouTube channel to the program to now, I would say 2 years. And then as far as like seriously applying for jobs, um, a couple months, between 4 and 6 months. So a good, I would say close to half a year of like seriously applying. Um, So it's like Tina mentioned earlier, the job market is tough, and y'all probably don't need me to tell you that. Did I learn coding? Yes, and I still am. I started off learning R, um, mostly because my master's, a lot of the statistics courses I had to take required it, and then really started to try to catch up with Python, which is still not my favorite. I really got used to R, and I kind of prefer it, but I'm getting better at Python. It's something that I work on every day. Um, how did I find the RLHF side hustle? I think honestly, it was one of their recruiters like spamming people on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a LinkedIn, maybe try there. I've also had recruiters reach out to me on LinkedIn for AI jobs. So if you don't have a profile there, I might create one and start setting up your profile so that some of these recruiters and companies can find you. Well, Stephanie, I'm currently in an urban data master's program. How did you combine or transfer your data science skills to help be more appealing to AI related positions? Mm, for me, I think it just helps to have any kind of STEM degree to help get past any filters um, that these companies are using to sort through resumes. Since I didn't have a STEM degree before, but there's a lot of math that goes into these models and how they operate under the hood. So I think having that math background will help you a lot as well. And then of course the programming, I think like Tina mentioned earlier, doing a computer sciencey type degree would probably be more beneficial. Sorry, my throat's getting dry from all the talking. Um, than like a straight up like I'm doing kind of data science degree. Um, all right, let me make sure I'm not missing any other ones that maybe specifically mentioned my name. Was the pay bump good? Yes, definitely from teaching. And I'll also say I did not realize that in the non teaching world that even something as basic as health benefits could be so much better in a non teaching job, but maybe especially in the tech world. Like I was paying literally a little over 4 times as much for my health insurance premiums in my teaching job than I will be now, which is insane to me. So I was making less money as a teacher, but having to pay literally like a little over 4 times as much for health insurance premiums. It's just, oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Excuse me.
Seriously? Oh my
Yeah, no, I
god.
did the math myself because I was curious and I got all my old pay stubs for my teaching job to compare like, okay, here's how much they took out for, this line item, this line item, this line item. And yeah, it just blew my mind. I think maybe that's why some people are so nice to teachers is because they know maybe like, wow, yeah, I know what my job pays and the kind of benefits I get, and I'm hearing what you get paid and what your benefits are like, and that's kind of sad. So I'll just be really nice to you. So yes, it was a huge jump in pay and also big jump in benefits as well, which I think is something that's important, but maybe not as many people think about when they're switching jobs is what it'll be like for something like health insurance as well. And let me scroll through a few more questions. I might be missing more, but I think that's all the ones that maybe specifically mentioned my name for now. Also, my computer's lagging a little bit, so
Cool. Thank you. Cool. Thank you so much.
yeah,
And
of
we are
course.
actually at time as well, a couple more minutes. So for anybody who wants to, okay, yeah, first thing, if you want the slides and stuff, sign up for the mailing list. We're not going to spam you. I only send out stuff for this mailing list whenever it is that we have like a live stream that's happening where resources, so I can send you resources like the slides and things like that. So you can do that. It's in the pinned comments. Um, so there is a Zoom call for Lonely Octopus right after this for people who are interested in learning more, and you can like ask questions directly as well. But also, if you're interested in joining the program, it does enrollment. The applications are closing tomorrow or in 2 days, 11:59 p.m. EST on January 11th. So you can check it out over here. And if you have any specific questions, you can feel free to email us, or you can join a Zoom call, which is going to be right after. Let me actually just put the link there as well. So if you want to go over there and talk about things. And yeah, in the meantime, I'm just gonna like talk a little bit more about how it works. So, because I don't think I actually went into that much detail. Um, Rex, if you're there, could you actually help me out and get the Zoom link to put in the Zoom call? Sorry, in the live stream. I have too many tabs. Okay, so yeah, for the program itself. Okay, well, actually, no, just kidding. I found it. Okay. Here's the Zoom if you want to go do that. Okay. Um, so let me actually share the website because that has all the information. Are you able to see that? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I just want to go through like what it actually looks like. So yeah, the program duration is starting from January 25th until March 22nd. So it's an 8-week program. It is a program where it's a group-based program, but we have flexibility in it. So it's not really like you have to study this many hours at this specific time. It's more like there is a group that you are part of from the very beginning, and you guys keep each other accountable, and you set your own goals for each week. And you also have a personalized study plan, so that's going to be specific to what your skill level are, how much time that you have, and also like what you're interested in doing and what projects that you're interested in doing as well. So that part is something that we emphasize a lot, the personalized part of things. Mm, okay, yeah, here. This is what I explained. So the first 6 weeks is you get your study plan and career planning as well. So you have a call with us. We'll talk about what it is that you're interested in, what your skills are. And then when you submit the application, the reason why we ask you those questions is because we'll have a base study plan that's going to be based upon the application you submit. And then we'll have a call to see if you want to add stuff, remove stuff, things like that to make sure it aligns to your goals. And then you'll be following that, learning things. It will be a combination of videos and also live workshops. So really encourage people to go to the live workshops, and then at least like watch the recordings as well. It's everything is recorded as well, and we'll be teaching you like things that you need to learn, starting from prompt engineering and coding. Like for some people, they want a very big emphasis on coding. Some people, they want to focus more on the prompting part. That's all fine, but you need to have the fundamentals. So we'll teach you the fundamentals for what you're going to need to do to be able to work on projects. The projects are also like we also are very focused on project based learning. So even before the actual company project, you'll be working on other projects to start applying the things that you're learning. Because for STEM subjects, if you work through projects, you will learn a lot faster. And of course, you'll have support from our mentors throughout. Like we're all available and we can chat with you whenever you need to. And we'll also be inviting different experts, and we'll have like tutorials and talks, and you can choose to go to these like depending on what it is that you're interested in. Like if you're interested in like diving deeper into how LLMs work, like transformers and things like that, then we have workshops for that. Or it can be more specific to like building applications, building chatbots. So we have a lot of these different types of offerings that you can go to for the ones that you're interested in. Yeah, I'll be working as a community as well. Like this is something that I've experienced a lot. Like self-learning, just learning things by yourself can be very lonely, hence the name Lonely Octopus. um so that's why like we put you into a group where you're keeping each other accountable, and also a group of people for you to be able to talk to that are on a similar learning journey to you. And of course you have like the mentorship support as well. So I do like very much emphasize the community part of things, as I do think it's really helpful. Also, people are coming from so many different backgrounds, so it's very interesting talking to each other and then getting to understand different opportunities from different fields as well. Then on the fourth week, you'll choose what company project. So we'll tell you about the company projects, but you make a choice around the fourth and the fifth week, where you decide. The fourth week is you make a decision which company project you want to work on, and then you'll have a meeting with a stakeholder. So you come up with a proposal for what the company wants to build, and then you'll have a actual like meeting, a call with the stakeholder to present your proposal, to get feedback from them, and then to align on expectations. Then you'll work with your team in order to build the project, and then again with support from all of us, like we will be making sure that it's being built correctly, and then we'll help out what if there's any issues that you run across, and then you'll give a presentation at the end to the stakeholder, and you'll be presenting what it is that you did, show a demo if that's applicable for that specific project, and then also like share your code base if it happens to be a coding based project as well, and you'll get feedback from them. Oftentimes like the clients themselves, like they would actually be able to integrate that into their companies. And yeah, and in the end, after you finish it, you get a certificate from Lonely Octopus, and also you get reference letters and LinkedIn review if you want a LinkedIn review. But we can provide these things whenever you need it from the actual company itself. So they'll be able to write a reference letter about the things that you were able to make for them. And I think this can be very helpful to put on your LinkedIn, your resume as work experience, and then also when you're just going for job applications, or maybe, I don't know, just have it if you want, just have it there, the experience itself. Yeah, and then we do have a network and referral program as well. So there's certain like little contract jobs that pop up from here and there. You'll be part of that, and we will generally reach out to people who we think are suitable for different projects after the entire program is over as well. Cool. So that's my spiel, and we are at time right now. So I'm just gonna say, if you're interested, there is that Zoom call that's going to be happening right now, and I'm gonna put the link over here. Oh, thank you, Rex. Put the link over here again that you can do. What is the cost? Great question. Let me actually cover that. Where did it go? Okay, so the Explorer option is 1,799. This is where you get. Don't have that much time to go through all of these things over here. We have payment plans for 2 sections. We're also for 4. We do have an early bird discount as well, which after you get accepted in the first round, if you apply earlier, we do have that as well. And the Pioneer option is the one I talked about briefly in the beginning. This is, I think for most people, you should just go for the Explorer option. This is for people if you're coming in maybe as a company and you want to get your company to make something, right? Specific to your company, and you want training for a group of people, Pioneer is a great option. Or if you're coming in with a specific project that you really want to build and you want us to teach you how to build it and make sure that it gets built at the end as well. So that's where the Pioneer option comes in. But yeah, I said for most people, I think you should probably just go for the Explorer option unless you have something very specific that you want to build. Is there any on the job training, or are you just expected to know everything? No, you're not expected to know everything. We actually assume that you don't know anything. Well, okay, maybe not anything, like that you know basic skills. That's why we have the 6 weeks prior where we're teaching you how to do it, right? Like we're teaching you all the skills, and then we'll also be working with you to draft the proposal to make sure that all of that is coming together well. We'll teach you how to communicate with stakeholders and all these things as well. So it's like a completely guided process through this. How much instructor based teaching would there be? It's a pretty significant amount. I would say like 60% of it will be, obviously like you can't just like show up and not do anything, but it like 60 to 70%, you always have access. I would say 60% would be through workshops and like other instructor based stuff. We have some videos as well. A lot of it is going to be you working, like, because it's like project based learning, you're going to be building things, but your instructor will be there to make sure, your mentors would be there to make sure that it gets built, if that makes sense. Can you be a complete beginner? That's another great question. I think we have it written in our FAQs somewhere. Can I join Lonely Octopus even if I don't have any coding or math experience? Yes. So the custom study plan is designed to meet you where you are. So if you don't know anything about AI, then you'll probably start with like very basics of prompt engineering, and just like how AI works and all these things, and then we'll work up to it. You can also join if you already have a lot of experience as well. Then your learning plan will just look very different than someone who doesn't have any experience at all. So it's custom to wherever it is that you're at. Cool. Any other questions? Are the wait are the courses pre-recorded or live? So there's pre-recorded some courses that you'll be going through, which is kind of like the very fundamentals, right? Of like introduction to Python. But there's live courses, like there's live workshops where we'll be going into more details, and then you'll be like building things along the way. So it's like how to build applications, like digging deeper into large language models. Those are all going to be live courses, but they're also going to be recorded in case you miss it as well. Yeah, and all the company project stuff, obviously that's all going to be live because it's like a real person that you're working with. um yes, thank you, SS. Oh, thank you, Stephanie, for answering all the questions. Number of hours, great question. So we recommend 8 hours a week to be able to get the most out of the program. So then you'll be able to choose the amount, like the amount of progress that you can make is very, very significant if you can dedicate at least 8 hours a week. Actually, I meant to say Lonely Octopus is a fraction of a college tuition's cost. I mean, I guess it depends on which college you're going for. So I think this program, I also want to make it very clear, don't be like spending your last monies on this program, right? I don't want anybody to be doing that. I think this is a program that's very, very customized, very mentorship based, and it's very individual. Like it's just like it's a very focused program to do what it is that we're doing, which is learning AI, getting that work experience, and being able to apply the skills that you're learning. So if you're looking for a more affordable option, like say if you're not like you don't have the budget for that, like you can definitely start off with free resources or much cheaper resources through the self-learning process. It just wouldn't be like this kind of cohesive, intentional experience. And you wouldn't have access, obviously, to maybe like different opportunities and company projects and work experience and things like that. But it doesn't mean that you can't learn the skills through self-learning as well. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. I'm not saying that you can't learn AI without the program, but the program itself is a very custom experience. Um, which question? Wait, you just psych shock. You have like 5 questions. Which one is it? Okay, I'm gonna answer this one, couple more questions before I hop to the live stream. Um, why I really don't know which question. There's so many questions.
I think he
What
means the
inspired you to
one.
start?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay, okay. What inspired you to start Lonely Octopus? It's clear you put a lot of thought into it. What made you feel it was worth pursuing? That's a good question. We actually started, I think, 2.5 years, almost 3 years ago. Yeah, it's actually been quite a while. Well, it actually all started because I was learning things by myself. A lot of it I was learning by myself. So I actually have a degree in engineering, computer science, and I had a data science job, which meant that I didn't know a lot of things. So I had to go learn things myself so that I can do my job. And I felt like it was just not like it was fine, but it wasn't the best experience because I would just be sitting there by myself like learning things, right? And then yeah, there was no like projects, there was no like mentorship, there were no opportunities for actual like experience as well. So I was sort of just like half guessing at what I think is probably the right thing to learn. I was right some of the time, I also was not right a lot of the time as well. And I just wasn't even aware of the different job opportunities and different side hustles and things that were actually available. So that was the reason why I started on the Octopus. Yeah. The name Lonely Octopus is like self-studying is lonely, and octopi are very smart creatures, but they're very independent, so they can get pretty lonely as well. But they do have many arms, so they are capable of making friends as well. Oh my god, that's so cheesy, but that was the name where the name comes from.
I'm
Um,
gonna I know you have to go to the Zoom call, but I'm gonna jump in real quick. It looks like Psych Shock said the question is for Stephanie. I couldn't tell if the question was for you or me, but now Psych Shock gets both sides of our story. Um,
oh, okay, yes.
I think it must have been mentioned in one of Tina's newsletters, Boop's Keyboard. Um, that must have been where I first heard about it, and I started looking into it, read, her little description of it, and thought, I mean, I'm not ready to go back and pursue a full degree yet, not even at a community college. If you know about college in America, they're a more affordable approach sometimes to getting education on certain things. Um, so I thought, especially since there would be involved with real companies, it could be a real good just way to like get my feet wet with all this STEM stuff that I hadn't previously been doing, uh, as opposed to diving into another degree, which I'm obviously doing now, but I needed that kind of baby steps first.
Cool. Thank you so much. All right. I'm
Yeah, of
gonna, if you
course.
want to continue the chat for anybody who wants to go, there is a Zoom call that we are there. Oh, looks like Rex. Wait, Rex, are you still here? There's a few people that joined. Okay. Well, yeah, we can move over to the Zoom call if anybody wants to keep chatting about Lonely Octopus. I can also share more specific things through the Zoom call, seeing as it wouldn't be broadcasted all over the internet. So I can say like a few more things there that maybe I cannot say because of privacy reasons, because we are working with real companies as well. So we respect their privacy. And I can go into more details about the actual courses and stuff if you would like to join. I'm gonna send the link again. Um, and Stephanie, thank you so much for agreeing to do this live stream. It
Yeah,
was
of course,
really
anytime. And I
appreciated.
hope that also is a testament to anyone who's still on the fence about joining, um, about how much I support the program. This is not the first Q&A I've been around for, the first live stream I've been around for, but not the first Q&A. So I'm always happy to help support a program that I actually really do think was beneficial.
Thank you so much. And I did not pay Stephanie to say those things. I just
She
want
did
to make
not.
that
No,
very
I do it for
clear.
free out of the goodness of my heart because I really do think it was a great benefit to me.
Thank you so much. That honestly, I'm very, very happy to hear that. That means a lot to me.
Yay.
And Rex also says, thanks, Steph. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in a Zoom call if you want to. And I'm going to end the live stream now. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream or Zoom call. Okay. See you. Bye. Okay. Live stream is ended. And again, thank you so much for
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
for that.